Today, I come to the floor to speak about a favorite topic that my friends know I'm proud of, protecting whistleblowers and the roles that they play in government. I've long held that government oversight can't be done with the patriotic work of whistleblowers. Even department and agency heads need whistleblowers to know what's really going on in their respective departments and agencies. I tell people that come to my office before their Senate confirmation that whether you're in a very small number of employees agency or hundreds of thousands of employees in your agencies, you're at the top. You can't know what's going on at the bottom. And that you need to listen to whistleblowers. And they usually come forward with very important information. When they don't get that respect from the department heads, they usually end up coming to the Congress, and many of them come to the office of this senator. Just this year, to show you the importance of whistleblowers, I made records public exposing the political origin of Arctic frost. Arctic frost is the case that ultimately became one of Jack Smith's cases against President Trump. Anti-Trump FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors started Arctic frost based on even more records that I've made public. Those very same anti-Trump FBI agents were involved in the investigation and prosecution of Peter Navarro, now serving with President Trump in the White House, like he did in the first Trump administration. Those agents that took on Peter Navarro were Assistant Special Agent in Charge Thibault and Special Agent Walter Giardina. Whistleblowers have also disclosed to me that J.P. Cooney wanted to potentially open yet another case on Trump. J.P. Cooney was Jack Smith's deputy. Allegedly, Cooney wanted to use compulsory process to obtain more information. He improperly based that desire to do so in the large part on partisan news outlets. And guess who was included in the communication about the new case against Trump? That same person's name shows up, Special Agent Walter Giardina. I'll have more to speak on that matter later. Whistleblowers have told me that Special Agent Giardina openly stated his desire to investigate Trump, even if it meant false predication. I've been able to make all these records publicly available because of brave, patriotic whistleblowers. They're patriots to the highest order. And a lot of this information that I received from whistleblowers wouldn't have been made available or even known that it existed without the help of these whistleblowers. And because of those whistleblowers, it's now an absolute fact that these cases against President Trump and his associates were politically motivated. My investigative work won't rest. There'll be much more coming from this senator. Now, on another matter, Mr. President, if I can continue for another minute or two, the U.S. regulatory process for approving farmers' tools like pesticides is the benchmark for all global regulatory standards. In other words, the United States agencies that deal with approving the safety of pesticides stands as a measure of how other global regulatory agencies will approve or disapprove of pesticides. Now, I'm going to speak about the MAHA Commission, and I don't know whether that acronym means much to people, but it stands for Make America Healthy Again. Last month, the MAHA Commission released a report taking aim at that regulatory process of deciding the safety or not so safe safety of pesticides. If you undermine our already strict and effective regulatory process, you undermine our global competitiveness. The result would be losing out to our competitors on business in the form of exports and direct investment in the United States. It would also pull other countries away from our standard in favor of others, creating non-tariff barriers to trade. The U.S. regulatory system for food and agriculture rose up alongside these important industries created by pioneers that changed the world through technology. This progress led humanity to the most prosperous time in history. As conservatives, it's important to remember that often it is not the lack of regulation, but the overregulation of our industry that hinders our prosperity.